Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. Today is Saturday, the 14th of March, and this may be a dead story by the time this comes out, but it's still funny. And it's still weird. Benjamin Netanyahu, they're saying, is dead. The Iranian papers are reporting this, and then multiple people on Twitter and mainstream media is trying to debunk it. But he hasn't been seen in days. Here's the first part here. He's got 6 fingers here, right? See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the thumb. So, he has 6 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which means this is an AI fucking botch. And why would they do this, right? Now, I don't know if somebody's put this out, like somebody took it and manipulated it, but he's got 6 fingers. And so, again, if this is coming from Israel's TV and an AI, I don't know why they would mess it up that badly, but they did. And so this was the first part. So who's to know where this video came from, whether it was an original video that somebody manipulated a little bit. But then there's more to it. Okay, so they manored him. This was the meme. Let's get this out of the way. This goes along with it, the meme. So Scott Bessant was called out of a meeting, and people are saying this has to do with Netanyahu.
I listened to you on the...
The president wants you. Sorry, the president wants you very much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This guy is
No problem at all. See you shortly, Mr. Secretary.
You can work that in.
Mr. Secretary, I have to say, it's a first, I'm sure a last as well, that an interviewee's been pulled away to go to the Situation Room. How was the president? Was he stressed?
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian.
Now he's always kind of nervous. He talks weird like this. He has this hesitation, but he's a little bit more rattled, shook.
The mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule, and I have to tell you, Wolf, that I've a teenager who's considering military service, and
Okay, why would you fucking do that to your own kid? I mean, maybe they protect him. Sure, he's in some threatening position just so he can build his resume. But why would you do that? Why would you send your kid over to fight this fucking inevitable ground war? I mean, if it was real, for Israel.
I could give this team my highest compliment from President Trump to the head of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of War. I would say that...
You mean the Secretary of Excursion, right?
I would trust my child's life in their hands.
Well, that's fucking stupid because they've already lost 7 people. Like, that's just a weird thing to say. Like, well, you're going all in after fucking leaving. And that had nothing to do with... I mean, the guy just asked you why you got called away. And you immediately said it had something to do with the war. And if they can't protect Netanyahu, right? All right, so that's fucked, right? Okay. So one of my viewers sent me this on Instagram, and I just looked. I've got like fucking 15 Instagram messages. I must not have checked them. 20 maybe. But I lost all my tabs. I was going to show this in 2-3 videos ago, and I forgot about it. Then I remembered who sent it. And it was kind of interesting back when I was going to show it, but now it actually is kind of even more interesting. So let me pull this back here. Is that at the beginning? Yeah. I got to turn this thing on here.
Who has officially fled to Germany. I mean, Germany, of all places. The jokes write themselves. The official Israeli state aircraft landed in Berlin, Germany at 8:30 p.m. today after circling Israel for hours looking for a safe place to land. This flight is often used for the continuity of government during crises, by the way. Consider this jet the Israeli Air Force One. Netanyahu was literally fleeing Israel amidst retaliatory attacks from Iran. He could not handle it. The plane was stuck circling over Israeli coastal airspace for several hours before finally leaving Israeli airspace to try to seek refuge in Europe. The jet was seen circling over Greece, and it is alleged that they were refused entry in Cyprus.
Yo, Greece refuses nobody. So again, I don't know if this is true. This was like a week ago, maybe. Like I said, I don't know when this video was even posted. I don't fucking know. I can't tell. It doesn't say here. It says 228 on that, but that can't be true. So.
While the West is sending their children to die in a war that they have absolutely...
Or it might have been the day. So this might have been from the day when, this is the day that the Babaji Whispers prediction that day that this all started. So this might have been the first day he was...
no involvement in. The leader of Israel has fled the country. And to Germany, no less.
Oh, so I'm pretty happy about it. So, this kind of makes this whole thing... I mean, apparently Iran just bombing the shit out of Israel and they're not reporting it. And it's going south. This thing is like they've lost control of this fucking thing. And they still don't have anything to do with the Strait of Hormuz. They haven't solved it at all. So that's the first piece. Okay, hopefully they don't copyright this. I'll just, we'll see what happens. So Ben Stiller was upset they used the White House Tropic Thunder, but they used a lot of clips of movies here that they didn't have permission for. I'm sure they wouldn't have gotten permission for any of these things. In the most tasteless, tone-deaf, pro-fucking bullshit Iran war.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home. I got that coming too.
Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
What do you do without freedom?
What would you do without freedom?
Rick's inbound.
These Maverick movies are so gay. Like, there's a lot of these movies that are very gayish. There's a sort of gay aspect to this. I mean, there's the whole stuff. If you ever hear Kay Gribb's videos, she was married to some colonel, and they had all these, gay dudes having sex with she called the Cherry Marines. These heterosexual Marines that the superior officers would converse them into having sex, like all this weird shit, right? Like there's all this stuff. It's very fucking, cannibalistic, all this. Boom.
You can't conceive.
So they're interlacing this with videos of the Iran war, and they also do this with NFL. I'll show you more on that in a bit.
Conceive of what I'm capable of.
Finishing this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking on back.
He's thinking on it.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
That's gay ass Superman movies.
I am the danger.
He is. Now this day's gonna say F.A. He says F.A. and he says and find out.
The danger. Time to find out.
And find out. So, Pete Sagseth is a fucking puss and just a total tool. And, Iran didn't fuck around. And you're finding out, right? Like, Israel's finding out. Like, the way I see it now is the more they talk about how great they're doing, the less believable it is, right? And, this is a fucked up thing that's happening, and it's going to cost. We know it's just, there's no way this thing ends well. But you're the bully. Like, you guys are the bully. Israel told you to go and fight, and you did, right? Because Trump fucking gets all his orders from Israel. And they, whatever this was, and Iran didn't do anything. They were just sitting there. They didn't fuck around.
Time to find out. Maximum effort.
Boom. And the audio here is horrible. They're using all these clips without permission.
Here it comes.
Boom.
Now end this.
Boom. The White House. All right. So, really bad. Totally tasteless, totally tone deaf. I mean, other than the dumb fuck WWE, double-digit IQ motherfuckers that worship Trump still, this is a fucking miss, right? And so, let's go to this other thing here.
More broadly. It runs straight down the middle of Donald Trump's powerful political coalition, the one he just assembled in 2024. Even a pair of old Fox News colleagues. Watch.
I mean, Sean Hannity is Lindsey Graham by a different name. It's amazing to me to watch them cheerlead this.
Okay, so I'm hoping she's using a filter, Megyn Kelly, because that's not a human face right there. Like, either she's fucked up her face so much, or like, you know, I mean, there's always this rumor about her being Nicole Brown Simpson or something, or some dude. Anyways, this is going to segue into the whole, you know, these football, these ads, these, you know, these fucking bizarre White House ads.
I mean, we've got 7 U.S. personnel dead. We've got a girls' school, 175 young girls dead in Iran, and there's serious dispute. We'll get into who's behind that, but there's only serious dispute because the president is now saying that it wasn't us, but his own defense secretary over his shoulder is saying it's under investigation.
So the MS Now with this witch Nicole Wallace video was from yesterday, the 13th of March, but this is probably a week old. But then it segues into this stuff here.
The defense secretary, by the way, another former Fox News colleague. It's not just Fox News, though, and it's not just a Joe Rogan thing either. Right now, all Americans are grappling with the concern, the fear, the idea of another prolonged war. Images of deadly strikes conducted in our names as Americans, broadcast on our airwaves, is something that's starting to sink in.
Jesus Christ, Nicole. Could you be any more low energy? That fucking witch-like hairdo, that whole thing.
On day 14. Most notably, in this case, the sort of slop posted by the White House's social media pages, real-world video, acts of war, life and death stuff, interspliced with clips from movies like Tropic Thunder, directed by Ben Stiller, who objected to the use of Tropic Thunder earlier this week publicly, or video games interspliced with images of war, or NFL hard hits. Speaking of which, another day, another former NFL star actively and publicly distancing himself from the use of this imagery that features him in one of these videos. Here's former Pittsburgh Steelers star Ryan Clark.
I'm disappointed that, because for one, to have Tropic Thunder and football highlights on a video about war is one of the more insensitive things that I've ever seen. There are families here in our country whose loved ones have decided to give their life to fight for our rights and our freedoms, who don't see war as a sport. War doesn't deserve a highlight film. For Tropic Thunder to be a part of it, war is not a comedy. And for these people to be risking their lives, not for our safety as much as for someone else's agenda.
Okay, so I think he must be talking about Israel here, right? It's hard to say, but does he mean Trump's agenda or does he mean Israel? Now, this is a piece of shit, Ryan Clark. He doesn't like Aaron Rodgers, so he went after Aaron Rodgers over the vax, but also Kyrie Irving. I don't know exactly what he said about Kyrie Irving, but he was really pro-vax, and he was really shitty about it. And he went after Kirk Cousins for not, wanting to get the vax too, or whatever Kirk Cousins said about it. And, a shill for ABC, Disney. I mean, he works for ESPN and First Take, along with Stephen A. Smith, and they both were pieces of shit on the vaccine, right? So very anti-conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy, again, truth or whatever you want to call it. But here he is basically calling out fucking, it sounds like Israel, right? I mean, whatever, either that. I mean, anybody can say shit about Trump, but, this is ABC Disney here. I mean, he works for ABC Disney, and he's saying that shit. But these ads are just fucking, they're horrible. I mean, they're so bad.
For our regime to be as unserious, as unprofessional, as laughable, and as illegitimate as our leadership is right now is embarrassing.
Again, that's Ryan Clark, a former Pittsburgh Steelers superstar.
Superstar. Like, he was never a superstar. Like, a star, yeah. I think he made the Pro Bowl. He's not a superstar. I think she said Brian Clark the second time. I'm not sure. But anyways, so that was the first piece. I was watching this yesterday. I don't know. I was flipping through the channels. And I'm not sure even why. And then I decided to record this in case they didn't put it up on the internets, which they did. And then it was like running, and I might have muted it, and I came back, and they were talking about this. This was the second story.
How out of touch are they? It's a question we try to answer here every day. So
Do you, Nicole?
stay with me on this one. This is another one of those perplexing, eyebrow-raising kind of headlines generated by none other than FBI Director Kash Patel. He has enlisted the help of UFC cage fighters to train FBI agents this weekend at their academy in Quantico, Virginia. Kash Patel is possibly feeling pressure to do something after...
Okay, so, like, holy shit. And I was telling this to my wife, I was saying this to my wife. And not that I think violence or fighting is something, right? Like, you know, I mean, it's a lower level thing. Physical violence, using physical force. The Sajmark system is a forceless force. And being soft is a good thing, like having a soft heart and these things, which in our society isn't. Like all these fake tough guys, all these fake hard guys, right? But Kash Patel, I know he hasn't been in a fight his whole life. Like maybe bullied, they took his lunch money. I mean, the guy's like 5'2", 5'3". He was a lawyer, like he grew up to be a lawyer. I mean, I'm sure, like I said to my wife, I bet he's been in a lot more spelling bees than fights, right? He comes from a culture that's not, traditionally warrior-like. He was a lawyer. He was a defense, like one of those, those free lawyers they provide, in terms of the public defender in Miami. So he's defending criminals in Miami. And somehow he ended up being at the FBI and became a lawyer for the FBI. He wasn't an agent. And he certainly isn't, I mean, other than not being on the wrong end of being bullied, he's not a fighter. But he tries to act like a tough guy, like all these fucking guys do. I mean, Trump's a pussy. And again, not because he doesn't fight, but because he acts like a tough guy and, he's not a fighter. Like he's posturing, right? And so how bizarre is it fucking getting? Like there's children running this fucking thing. So this closeted gay Republican dude, an Israeli whore, sitting there with Trump in his gold tie.
Could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day.
Big friggin' day. Holy shit. So you want to get into Cuba, right? These like, is there anything you don't want to fuck up? I mean, Jesus Christ. So I was looking up Netanyahu is dead. This is a Christian CBN, right? Isn't that some kind of Christian broadcast network or some shit? This guy says this.
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew.
Screw you, Jew? What the fuck? He's rapping. He's freestyling.
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew. It is being used in a context very directly to say, I hate Jews, and that's almost an online code word. Christ is king is, I hate the Jew.
Is that your view, or why do you say that?
Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews are horrible, good, like they're attacking Jews, and they end with Christ is king.
Maybe because like they participated in his demise. Maybe that's why, because Christians and Jewish people are, and I said this before, and I looked it up, and I had it confirmed by AI. Jesus is the most influential and successful Jew in history. He now has a religion, a shitty religion, that has over 2 billion followers worldwide. Right? Crazy. Like more followers than any other religion. Jesus is one of the fucking the dudes, right? One of the main people. Like, more than any politician. 2,000-year-old thing. And again, he didn't really go that far spiritually. Like I've talked about this before. He was like on the first rung of spirituality. People, whatever. Like it's just, and you could, if you do any kind of research outside your own indoctrination, you would come up with the same conclusion. If you compared him and his teachings to other, people and other higher developed souls. But in terms of an influencer, Jesus is one of the top influencers in modern era, right? And he is the most successful Jewish person. They don't celebrate his birthday. They don't even acknowledge him as a successful person. They don't like him for a variety of reasons. They think he's a false messiah. They think he's a fraud. And so, like, that's a deal breaker for Christians. And again, I'm not a Christian, and I have plenty of, good relationships with Jewish people over my lifetime. The guy who started me in Sajmarg was a Jewish guy who transcended his religion, like Jesus, and became a spiritual person. My preceptor Fred, and I don't like whatever. I don't have any, all people are potential spiritual people. That's how our system is supposed to look at it. But until they're spiritual people, they don't exist for me. Like it's not my audience. If you have potential, then you're, and this is a gateway to where you start thinking about God within, then there. That other than that, I don't care, right? Like there's enough dumb shit. There's enough stuff out there for dumb fucks, right? There's enough remedial content. This is content specifically with the idea that people who can become spiritual, who have the capacity, because not everyone has the capacity. It's inside of them, but not in terms of their consciousness level. They're not going to choose it, right? The people who can actually choose to be spiritual and find divinity within them, maybe 10%, maybe 20%, I don't know. It's a small number. But in terms of the relationship between Christians and Jews, it should be adversarial at best. It's not. They did what Jews think about Christ is insulting to Christians, and and Jesus transcended his religion, right? And so saying Christ is king shouldn't offend Jewish people, but it does. Like he's a Jewish person.
To make it sound like somehow there's a biblical basis for attacking Jews. Look, Jesus was a Jew.
Well, was he? Because, he was born a Jew. Swami Vivekananda said, a religion is a great thing to be born into, but a horrible thing to die in. You should transcend your religion. And Jesus did what every spiritual person does. They grow up in a religion, or the ones that grow up in a religion, and then transcended that and became spiritual, had a direct relationship with God. Like, why isn't Judaism Christianity still Judaism? If Jesus was a Jew, he didn't die a Jew, bro. Like fucking, there wouldn't be a whole separate religion, right? It's not an extension of Judaism. The Sajmarg system, Master Charji, like on his deathbed, said, everyone's got to be clear that Sajmarg is not an extension of Hinduism. It stands alone, like it stands on its own. It's not, it can't be absorbed by Hinduism. He was St. Paul in a previous existence, so like that was part of his role is in that life, right? But so when a spiritual person comes, they start something new, and they take what's good from the old stuff. They take what's good, or it's a continuation of those things, other spiritual movements, because they're all working for the same. Oftentimes it's the same souls coming in and creating a spiritual movement. It just doesn't. The people just don't. It doesn't register with the people. It isn't the movement, it's the people that are a problem. Human beings just won't go there, right?
And by the way, the twisted theology that says Jews are Christ killers, and that's been used to justify anti-Semitism, to justify persecution.
Well, not all of them. And again, I don't care. I don't have a dog in this fight, but there is, evidence that the Jewish people wanted Christ dead. The Pharisees at the time there, the leadership, not, every Jew, because that's not, of course not. Like, his disciples were Jewish people. So it's not like, but it was some of them, right?
And murder. Look, as I read the Gospels, Jesus went to the cross willingly. He made the choice to go to the cross, and it was not the Jews who killed Jesus. It was me.
How the fuck was it you?
It was you.
Like, no, fuck you guys. You know, like that, like you guilty piece of shit. You fucking, what, if he went willingly, then it wasn't you either. You weren't even born yet, you dumb fuck. Okay, but there were people involved, the Romans and the Pharisees, that were also responsible.
Look, Jesus died for our sins.
Yeah, that's not true. Nobody can die for your future sins. It's not possible.
Because man is fallen. And the wages of sin is death.
This is why these religions suck. The three religions that come from Judaism. Their view on humanity, yeah, you're a piece of shit, but you're also a potential saint. You know, people are an egotistical, you have an ego that's a potential demon, but you have a soul that's a potential saint or angel or whatever you want to call it, master. And so you have both those things. And so embrace your higher nature, but denying your higher nature is sinful, like it is, you know. And there's no Sajmark sins other than ingratitude, but you have an opportunity, but like this religion sucks so bad, these fucking religions.
And Jesus took on the punishment that you deserve and I deserve so that we could be covered in his blood and receive salvation, not through works, not through what we do, but through the gift of God.
Do you ever fuck what you're saying, right? Do you ever think about what you're saying? Jesus Christ, okay. So I was looking up this thing, Netanyahu's dead, and I ended up there with fucking that clown, whatever his name is, Ted Cruz. And Paula White came up here.
And the Lord says he thrust you suddenly.
Power. 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 All right, there's some music playing. I gotta stop this thing. You know, the fucking, I'll get copyrighted or some shit. But you know, some fucks are always adding music. You know, when shit is good enough on its own. Whoa. Whoa, look at him go. Look at him go. Look at that one woman. She's fucking going for it. Whoa, he's just throwing out fucking power. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Just throwing out power. He also wants it again. Look at him go. Look at him fucking go. Look at that woman. She's fucking going nuts there. She can't. She's filled with the Holy Spirit. Look, this woman's laughing over here. Watch her. She's laughing as her friend goes nuts. She's laughing right here. Whoa, I can't. He's like, she looks this. He's going to fucking hurt me. Watch. She gets scared that the woman's going to headbutt her. She pushes her away. She's like, holy shit. Look, fuck's going with that spastic cunt next to me. Right. All right. So there's that. Fucking, look. Okay, so this is an AI video. Really well done. YouTube recommended this thing to me for like weeks, and I just didn't want to watch it because I'm over these, you know. I just don't want to dive back into this bullshit. And I won't because I can't, right? I've got an aversion to Candace and Erica. You know, unless something in 3 months happens, nothing's going to happen though. But someone sent this to me on Instagram as well, right? I'd already seen it.
He would walk through the door, drop his bags, Daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer.
Okay, so we forget how weird Erica Kirk is, right? Fucking, and how weird that is. You know, Daddy's home, like fucking, who's she talking to? Your daddy? I mean, your kid's daddy? Your baby daddy? Like, what is it? Fucking, you know, so, and that's weird. Daddy's home. Throw his phone in the junk drawer and Shabbat Shaloms. Everyone's got a junk drawer. Remember, she's so fucking weird. Like she's just not like a human being. She's like trying to fake being a human being and is failing fucking drastically. So they copyrighted this song. So I'm cutting it out. So fuck them. But you know, I have to go back and do this. I showed a clip of it. You want to go watch it, go watch it. But it's stupid to copyright a small portion of it when. Okay, so she goes after All the people at 2PUSK, not she, the AI bot. Here, this guy.
Daddy's home. Throw down the phone. Yeah, I should've known.
All right, so Shabbat Shalom. So there's that. So this guy came up, No Life Shack. He's one of my favorite reaction video guys. I haven't watched a reaction video in a while, but this is a Chris Webby masterpiece. Listening to it again, and this guy really, he's these first. It's supposed to be his first time listening to this and his reaction videos. And this masterpiece from Chris Webby with the.
I be low key scared of reacting, bro. I don't know what he finna say. Let's get it.
Okay, so Chris Webby and I gotta go back to do the Shabbat Shalom thing. Daddy's home. Both copyrighted me, so I'm cutting that part out here. The audio part.
Oh yeah, this finna get shadow banned. Hey, off the tone of the first couple lines in the first segment of the song.
So my wife and I watched this. It was really hilarious. This guy's funny. I've seen him. I don't remember which video he reviewed, but this is really enjoyable. All right, so then let's go back to this guy. So this posing piece of shit, this Canadian posing piece of shit, who pretends to be a right-wing American, fucking Tom McDonald.
They seem anti-American, they anti-Christ.
Now, Chris Webby's video got 500,000 views, almost 600,000 views. This is already, and that's from like a week ago. This is 7 days ago. This is from yesterday. He's already got 700 or 800,000 views because of the dumb fuck people who, it's like trying to be similar. I mean, he's an imitation fucking of the real truther rappers out there.
It ain't left and right no more, cause now it's good and evil. They used to call it a conspiracy, but now it's real.
Now it's real. Its fucking rhymes suck too on top of it. Here's the line. This is where I clicked on. I don't watch him. I can't watch him. His fucking rap sucks so bad. So I fast forwarded and I happened to hit this spot when I first took a look at this.
This might wake him up. QAnon didn't make it up.
This might wake him up. QAnon didn't make it up. Pandering to the QAnon fucking tards, or the Q-tards at fucking Cubies. QAnon sucks, and they're a plague on the truth community. And fucking, they got to all that shit after it was already, then they wrecked it, right? And they drove it over the edge. They're the ones who, just came in with so much stupid, made up shit, and it was just fucking horrible, you guys know. But this guy's just a piece of shit, so. Okay, so you guys know this is Tim Pool. Alex Jones is making the circuit. I just got back from my wife and I went out to. We get milk from these people, these Amish people. They're German Baptists, and they had we were late, they were just about to close. They drive in with a truck and they serve raw milk. They sell raw milk for pets, but we drink it. Don't tell anybody. It's some raw milk is illegal in some states, but you can sell it for pets, and so whatever. And they had their baby, their grandchild, there, which we'd never seen. It's like a little baby. And I was going to say, is his name Rumspringa? Rumspringa is like the only Amish word. They're not Amish people, so it's even weirder. But Rumspringa, they have this time where they go out, and the Amish teenagers or whatever, young adults, and they go out and they party, and they go smoke crack, and they do all that shit, and they get it out of their system, and then they come back. Doesn't seem like a good idea, but it's a great word, Rumspringa. It'd just be I try to work in Rumspringa into sentences, but it's not really very appropriate. It certainly has nothing to do with what we're going to cover here. So this is Tim Pool, one of these twinks.
The great Alex Jones.
Oh boy.
The great.
Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's vagina right now.
I bet you were. Can you get more fucking gay, these guys? Why were you thinking about his vagina? What's happening?
Right now, if you're just tuning in, share it with everyone you know.
You might get it so.
Here, let's go back here.
Oh.
That's
all right, let's get back here. Here.
Jones.
Oh boy.
The great.
Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's vagina right now.
That's a weird way to introduce yourself, Alex.
Well, Joe's like, I love Joe, but like, oh my God, we better not have an event. The terrorists might get us. We just give up and go away. We can't ever have a meeting because the Iranians might stick their ding dong in us. I think Joe's afraid of the Iranian ding dong.
You're not. Like, you want Iranian ding dong. You take Iranian ding on head on. This guy, he's getting more and more gay. Seems like he's on drugs. He's like medicated or some shit or stoned or whatever. But I mean, this guy we know from I'm not going to play the meme. You know, this whole thing where he talked about he'd suck a ding dong to stop World War III. Which, you know, seems like just an excuse to suck a ding dong. I did a whole bit on it. But what's up with him in this?
You know, I'm surprised by Joe saying that. Like, oh, let's not have a USC event.
Well, I don't
the
think
Iranians
he said
might get us.
it.
I mean, I'm against the war. Let's be clear.
Let's go back here.
Jones.
Oh, boy.
The Great.
Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's vagina right now.
Vagina.
That's a weird way to introduce yourself, Alex.
Well, Joe's like, I love Joe, but like, oh my God, we better not have an event. The terrorists might get us. We just give up and go away. We can't ever have a meeting because the Iranians might stick their ding dong in us. I think Joe's afraid of the Iranian ding dong.
You're a Joe Rogan commentator, professional.
No, I like Joe. I mean, a little bit. You know, here. I'm surprised by Joe saying that. Like, oh, let's not have a USC event.
Well, I don't
the
think he said
Iranians
don't
might get
have
us.
it.
I mean, I'm against the war. Let's be clear.
But he's pro ding dong. Let's make that clear. He likes girls with ding dongs. Like, that's his favorite.
But let's keep the buses and the trains and the airplanes on time. Let's not the fucking Iranians might get us. So
he's already swearing.
I'm already swearing. Gotta follow every little AI rule. No, here's the deal. Let's all just hide Joe Rogan's vagina. And then we'll all be...
It's just, really? You really want to hide in his vagina? Like, you know, and he doesn't have one, so, like, his butthole, is that where you want to hide, Alex? Is that, you want to hide in Joe Rogan's butthole? Is that what's going on here, bro?
Safe.
Jesus. Good to have you, Alex.
Like
It's
a
going to be fun. We can already
giant
tell.
Joe Rogan vagina.
Luke is sitting
and we
next
all
to
just
him.
fly up into it. We're all safe.
Safe and Joe.
Thanks for coming.
This fucking guy, right? They got, you know, it's a shillathon over here. Alex Jones' illegitimate son. Like, can you get any more like shilly than this, right?
Luke, what an introduction! How do I top
dancing
that?
like safe under her black wings. I'm safe in Joe Rogan's big ass pussy vagina.
Pussy vagina. He's got a pussy vagina, and he's safe in there. All right. Like, he's just gotten so fucking weird. But before this happened, YouTube recommended this like twice, and I meant to grab it, and but they came out with a shorter version, which is good.
Who do you think killed Charlie Kirk? If you don't, do you think it was Tyler Robinson in the FBI story, or what do you think is going on?
Yeah, I noticed that's when you guys started kind of going against me some, just because the way it all boiled down.
Well, Alex, here's the thing. This story seems like it's right up your alley.
Right up your alley. You like things up your alley, Alex. I mean, I noticed that about you. You like things in your alley.
Because no matter where you put your attention into the Charlie Kirk assassination or TPUSA or
TPUSK
or Erica Kirk, there's a million things that don't make sense and stand out as red flags. So it seems like it would be right up your alley. And so you've seen the speculation. People think that somehow you've been compromised because you're not your old you.
Not your old you, Alex. You're the new you.
So what we want to go, what happened to the old Alex? We want the old Alex back. And so what do you say to those people when they say that?
Not you, because you never said shit like that.
Well, you've asked me questions, and I've done big gestalts from different angles.
Gestalts or gestalt, one of those things.
Different pieces, and you can look at each piece, take out of context, say something that I didn't say. I don't believe that 30-06 goes into your neck and bounces back out. Okay? I don't believe the official story. You got the famous disruptor operative down there.
Okay, so then he gets into Candace Owens here. You know, Alex is going on this shill tour. Like, I haven't seen this yet, so I'm just kind of finding everything. You know, and they're having a shillathon. Both these guys are shills and suck, right? But he talks about Candace Owens here.
He's like an army captain or somebody. So the point was, I was saying to Candace, I said, You're being set up with disinfo to discredit the investigation, and then they all turned around and said you're funded by, whoever the Israelis. So then I got a little bit pissed about it, and so that was my point. Is obviously you've got Erica Kirk with the fake crying and just all of it. There's something's going on there. But then to say, then all this other stuff, and then I go like the Egyptian planes. Other people went and bought the data, looked at it.
Alex, this is stuff you would do. Like, I remember I was talking about how this was like the Egyptian planes is straight up Alex's alley. Like, he's got Egyptian planes up his alley all the way. But, that's isn't, which I said Candace Owens is the new Alex Jones. Like, she just would put out, like, whatever. So, and she'd credit some third party. Oh, this person said this, and someone did this research, and then she's like, she doesn't have to. She just throws shit up against the wall, just like Alex has done for years. Like, he's pissed that she's taking and stealing his thunder.
Wasn't accurate. I said, hey, this isn't accurate. Notice we've never got the Egyptian plane data that was going to be published. So it's not saying, I'm saying disinfo gets put out. I'm not saying Candace is doing this on purpose to discredit the real stuff that's there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you're saying you wanted war with her, and you're having a spaz.
I mean, sure, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so like that's just you're being a puss. You're pussing out, bro. He looks like a beaten fucking dog here. He's just a fucking mess. All right, this is just a letdown. Like, somebody sent me the other thing with Tim Pool and Alex Jones, and this one, I thought they were going to have a real, because Jimmy Dore's been talking shit about him, and Alex Jones was all riled up, and now they're just like fucking couple of old pussies out there. What happened, you guys? That was just like a fucking, you guys promised a 10 and it's barely a 1. Soon, PM Netanyahu at the White House. So is he coming there today? Because, we think he's dead. This is kind of weird.
It's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would.
Yeah, not because you'd be gone. Everyone would be celebrated, but
be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated.
So your instructions are, if they kill you, to fucking drop a nuke on Iran? You fucking selfish piece of shit.
There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why. Lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader.
But you took out their leader. That's okay. Like, he's the biggest fucking, throwing punches but can't take it. Like, he's just the biggest fucking puss. Like, he's, attacking people all the time. And then when anybody says it, he whines like a little fucking bitch. But, like, you're going to drop a nuke on them and kill all the people in Israel. There's going to be radioactive fallout to all the neighboring countries. I mean, that's it. If there'd be nothing left, that means you'd obliterate their whole thing with a nuclear bomb. And then that's a whole another nightmare for, I mean, he'll be dead, so he won't care. I'm dead. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, what fucking selfish piece of shit, right?
Frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing.
That would include Iran. Well, what other states? Right? Because, I mean, the Russians have more nukes than us, so, like, that will be, they have submarines that are sitting outside our coast. I mean, Jesus Christ. Fucking, like, this is a disaster. This guy's a fucking disaster. Okay, so here's the thing. American TV won't touch this, but there's no debunking. I hit the news button here. Bibi dead, right? Bibi. NDTV, this is like Indian news. Where's Bibi? Six Fingers sparks concerns about Netanyahu. This is another Indian paper. Is Netanyahu dead? Viral video, Six Fingers claim and injury photos ignite internet storm. Hindustan Times. Is Netanyahu safe? Fact-checking Six Finger hand claim and Scott Bessant's reactions on speculation. World News. So there's a lot of, like, certainly not mainstream media, some foreign media, some fact-checking, but, like, where's the, like, denial? I mean, he could show up at any time. He might show up before this whole thing's done. But there's there's one thing about fact checking here, and they can say, well, he's they said he's not dead. That's not fact checking. Here's the where's Bibi six fingers? Like they're showing the six fingers. I mean, so it's something to do with Australia here, and this one here. They have a lot of shit in India, like a lot of gossipy stuff, and George Galloway expressed doubt about Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu being alive in a post on X. George Galloway hinted at Netanyahu's death. He's a guy from Ireland. Here's his post. Did this happen? Why did Israel put out an AI speech by Netanyahu last night in which the Prime Minister literally sported six fingers? Six is interesting, too. Where is he? Where is Ben Gurion? And why is no Western news outlet asking questions? Well, they should be asking questions about the six fingers. Apparently, they pulled the thing down. So, like I said, this will be out Sunday, and we should know more. But sometime they're going to have to come out and say he's dead or not, right? Like, they can deny it and try to get a body double in there or whatever. But, like if they're not saying anything about this, he's probably dead. Unless this is just another fucking psychological. I don't know what benefit this has, right? But if he is dead, then that's going to trigger a whole bunch of shit, right? So, and at some point people are like, Iran's not fucking getting their ass kicked like they thought. And then that's going to, trigger a whole bunch of other shit. Okay, so this is the hammer guy. I showed you the beam of him flipping out with some people, you see that probably. I'm not going to show it today, but I'll bring it back every once in a while. One of my viewers sent me this, and I'm covering it because I watched the first minute, and he says Donald Trump like 4 times. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Like this whole language should just be Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Well, I'll show you this.
Well, no one insults Donald Trump's voters more viciously than Donald Trump. No one makes it harder for committed Trump voters to believe in Donald Trump than Donald Trump.
Donald Trump to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump. He said his name 4 fucking times. He always said Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Like fucking, you could just be his one word like aloha. It means everything.
Most of us knew Donald Trump was lying on Monday when he urged oil tankers and other vessels to take the chance of going through the Strait of Hormuz because Donald Trump said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Those were his exact words. There's nothing to be afraid of.
But we don't know because it was Brian Kilmarty relayed the information. So it's not even like it's been sourced. But we don't, when we watch Kilmarty, it's hard to understand if he was saying they should show guts or Trump was saying that. But either way, Trump's a pussy. Like he ain't good. How many people are going to say, if you had if you're going on a ship and it's your job, like it's not a cruise, and even if it was a cruise, and there's a chance you could get hit by a fucking missile, what would you do? Like, you're going to go on that ship? Anyways, my internet's out. I'm going to probably cut this video a little bit short. I'm using my phone right now as a hotspot.
So how does it feel tonight?
How does it feel?
If you're a Trump voter who believed that lie from Donald Trump Monday night, and you watch the ships engulfed in flames in the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, I don't know why.
Would relentlessly attack me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, I'm not sure why this is sent to me. He has the ads here. Let me see if there's anything in the message the person sent it to me. Okay, so this was sent to me because of the ads, which I already covered, the Tropic Thunder stuff and the football. But, he had this, Hammer guy had it as well. Same network, they just run the same thing. So, you'll see like one of their I don't want to call them stars or whatever, but their employees that host shows, well, they'll cover the same thing over and over again, and then they'll only put one video up on YouTube's, depending on, it'll be the same stuff. Anyways, so this is Sunday, March 15th, and I got a few little clips here, then I had to make a voiceover yesterday, so let's get into that. Okay, Sunday, March 15th. 15th? Yeah, 15th. It was 14th. Friday the 13th, which I talked about briefly as a non-event. So I just want to add this before I couldn't put this video up last night anyway, which I usually like to do the day before and schedule it. But I couldn't do that because, you know, the internet problems. So we didn't get our internet back. It's the whole thing. So I couldn't have uploaded the video anyway, so I just left it open. And I was wanting to see if there's any news on Netanyahu. And so the Israeli PM office says, they recommended a video, a tweet from Candace Owens this morning, and she had put this tweet up. I don't know who Elizabeth Lane is. Israeli PM's office says the assassination in the Iranian strike is fake news. They told us to Anadolu, but they failed to present Bibi's recent location, a video, or anything else. We can wait until Bibi comes out and tells us he's alive and well. That, of course, if he's alive and well, Iran has claimed their leader is alive, and while he was dead. So we would prefer the proof, and proof would be physically seeing him, and he's not a body double. So something's going on here, because I asked. So then I asked Gemini, is Bibi dead? No, Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu is not dead. As of March 15, 2026, his office has dismissed viral social media rumors claiming the Israeli Prime Minister has died, confirming the reports are false and he is fine. I did the voiceover you're going to hear later. Netanyahu then claims debunked by Israeli's PM office. Evidence of death. So this is Hindustan Times. This isn't being covered by mainstream media. Like, they're not denying it. Like, where's MSNBC and CNN and these people, saying that? Because usually they do, right? So, this could be a psychological operation, but there's something here. This is not nothing. So here's their post. The office of Benjamin Netanyahu has dismissed. This is what the AI recommended. The office of Benjamin Netanyahu has dismissed online claims that his Israeli leader has died. Claim reports as fake news and confirming that he is fine. The rumors spread widely on social media after a video Netanyahu sparked controversy. So, they're not. That was a real video put out by Israel. I don't know why the fuck they would do that. They can't count fucking fingers. Like, you don't have people overlooking that when you're trying to. If you're putting out a fake video because he's dead, you want to make sure there's nothing that's going to make it look like he's dead. So that seems fake. Like, I talk about that in the voiceover coming up. It just seems weird to do that. Like, it seems like, how could that be? You're going to hear me talk about that every day, a voiceover that's following this. So, the whole thing, there's something here. Like, there's nothing here. This is not some just, fake video that somebody put up. And, the memes are flying and nobody cares. This is not going to be a tragedy for the majority of people in the world. The majority of people don't like this guy. It's like if Trump died, right? So even probably worse than that, because this guy's been around a lot longer, and the whole genocide thing is, Trump isn't accused of that. Like, he's accused of supporting that, but Trump's stuff are like, his crimes are just being an asshole. His crimes aren't nearly as bad as what Netanyahu's done. This was one of the memes that came out. I don't know what the why you would fake this. Like, I don't know why, like, what the motivation is. The story will play out one way or another. Like, he'll appear or not. But if he doesn't appear, at some point they'll be like, oh, he's dead or hurt, or he's, something's going on. Health issues, right? Like, they have to scrape up something. I mean, and mainstream media is very silent on it, which seems odd. Like, they, it's like lots of people know he's dead already, or something. There's something here. But isn't like he's so. This would be a tragedy, right? Isn't like if he comes back from the dead, it'll be some motivational tool. Like, oh my God, he's not dead, and everyone thought he was. Oh my God, great. People aren't like, oh shit. It'll be like everyone's bummed out, right? He's just not a very likable person, and he's done a lot of bad shit. And anybody, like it's Putin, anybody like that. They've been around too fucking long, right? This is a two-term president that's been around for 8 years. And then he's going to disappear, like he's done. This guy's been around for as far as I remember. I don't know who the last prime minister of Israel is. Like all I know in terms of Israel is Benjamin Netanyahu. I know he was gone for a little bit, but this guy's like fucking. He's one of those, like a Castro in Cuba type of guy, right? He's just there forever, and people are like, can we have a change, please? Like people just want change just for change's sake. And so, I don't see any motivation for pretending he's dead. But this is weird thing that's happened. And if he is dead, if it comes out he's dead, and they've lied about it, and they lie about everything, they're the only country that won't admit they have nuclear weapons, but threaten to use them all the time, right? Like they just lie. They have the worst. Assad's the worst, and they're just really deceptive and manipulative, and they're never upfront with information. And it's him personally, like they lie. I mean, they're some of the worst liars, in terms of their political official story and things like this, right? I mean, just lying outright about a genocide they're committing, and lying about all the stuff to do with Palestine and all the things that are there. Lying about the 6-Day War. I mean, bombing an American ship because they're getting caught in their lies, right? Like every country has their MI6 or their CIA, their Mossad. They have their dirty trick people and their their covert ops. But Israel is like, one of the worst, like just in terms of their deception. So this might be some kind of manipulation, but I don't see how it benefits them. The way to dispel it is if you have a fake video, you make a real video, right? If your video came out AI'd, you make a real video. Like why would you make an AI video and then say, oh, that AI video doesn't mean anything, and take it down, and then say, he's still alive. This is all fake news. You know how you prove someone's alive? You make a video of them. And of course now it's harder with AI and all these things. And but you make another video, or you make a better AI video. Like you just make one without 6 fingers. You just put out some kind of video saying I'm fine, and you post something, But if he's in a hospital bed or something, or he's dead or whatever it might be, you can't do that. So you put out a statement. A state doesn't mean shit from a country that's first impulse is to lie about everything. Like it's just it's probably the number one deceiving country in the world, and just lying about everything, and manipulate, the manipulation of everything, the manipulation of reality, right? The fucking the victim consciousness that comes out of that fucking country, and the official story and the culture is just so bad, right? Deception. And so I mean, as of right now, he's dead, or they're doing something fucked up. But if he comes out as dead, and they've been, saying this morning, Trump said Iran is ready to negotiate, but I'm not ready to negotiate like this. So I think it's right here. Trump says Iran is ready to negotiate a ceasefire, but he's not ready to make a deal. So, like Trump's talking tough and whatever, but there was something else about the Strait of Hormuz. I'll cover that at the beginning of the next video. But Trump was asking for other countries to help him with the strait. Like he wants other countries to what the fuck, right? So I'll get into that in the beginning of my next video. It'll come out on Monday night. So fuck, right? This is where we're at, and so we have all this stuff to consider here. All right. So let me wrap this one up here. I have a voiceover to go, and then I'll continue on today with that other stuff for a video on Monday night. Okay, so I'm still having internet problems. I'm just going to wrap it up here. If there's anything that breaks tomorrow, I already got a bunch of shit to cover for my next video, so it'll work out one way or another. I have a bunch of comments to get to, some interesting things I think about to talk about here. There's no way that Israel's AI is that bad. If it was just normal time, like if it was just not, World War III and Israel wasn't like hated on and all these things, the internet would still find Netanyahu missing teeth and having 6 fingers. The internet finds shit like that, especially now. And if he's dead and he hasn't been seen in days, putting up a video like that can only be intentional, because there's no way that they would have thought, like all these things that are happening, like they're not even thinking about the port of Hormuz, what is it? The Strait of Hormuz. It's like there was a prediction of shattered glass. It's raining shattered glass and razor blades and tacks. Like there's a prediction, everyone knows that this has happened, that it's going to rain shattered glass and tacks and all these things. And then someone says, yeah, I'm not going to wear shoes today. It's like, they're like, well, no, what do you think's going to happen, right? It's like that kind of level of, I can't, there's so many different metaphors for it, but something where a certain thing's going to happen and you do nothing to prepare for it. And it's even worse than that. The action that you're taking makes the situation worse. So if they're trying to cover up Netanyahu's death or something like that, they would make an impeccable AI. They wouldn't slap something together and throw it out there and then have to pull it back in, with 6 fingers in it. So all this stuff seems very intentional. I can't believe that they're this bad and this stupid. And, it takes almost a high level of competence to produce this kind of level of incompetence. Like incompetence is a lot more sloppy than this, right? But in terms of what they're doing, it seems like it's, pinpoint, and it's, it's serving some sort of bigger purpose. Like they have the most hateable people being the face of Israel. Like, why would that be a good thing? And, the worst kind of shills and everything they're doing seems to have the opposite effect of what they're saying they want, right? So that seems to be, there's just something wrong with it, something off. Like, I don't believe any of this stuff is happening, organically, and it's happening without some, ulterior motive and to, destroy the confidence in the American government and destroy the relationship between America and Israel and all these other things. Let's say Netanyahu pops out and they're like, "Oh, you guys are crazy conspiracy theorists." Yeah, but you had 6 fingers in a video, so like that's not on us, right? Like whatever you're doing is provoking these responses. So here are some of the comments. One of my viewers wrote, "Only spirituality will save this world." It's a saying from Babaji, the second master of the Sajmark system. And somebody wrote, "Probably too much, too little, too late for that." And what I assume this person is saying is saving your world. Like, when I say only spirituality will save this world, it doesn't mean your world, doesn't mean your lifestyle, doesn't mean America, doesn't mean the countries the way they are now. It doesn't mean that, everything's going to be fine. Like, this is what people are expecting. Like, this is what people want to have happen when Trump's going to come in and save the world from the deep state, or Biden's going to save the world from Trump, or all this bullshit. That's not what I mean. Save the world in terms of, the world is going to, survive. People will survive. There'll be some level of civilization left, but not, everything's going to change dramatically. And I've read the prophecies in the Whisper of the Brighter World. The continents, the tectonic plates are going to move. The continents are going to realign. There's going to be a pole reversal. There's going to be a nuclear war. Fire will rain down in places, floods other places, just catastrophe, very hard, just hard time to live. But there'll be some, some semblance of human life, and some of this stuff will make it through, right? But it's going to be, in terms of your world, no, your world's done. Like, our world's done. The world that we're used to, that's over. Like, it's, and the world's always changing. The world that I grew up in, it no longer exists. The world I grew up in the 70s doesn't exist. And that's why they have that 70s show and that's 90s show. And they have retro things, right? The world of Napoleon doesn't exist. The world of the founding fathers doesn't exist, right? The world of Jesus doesn't exist. You know, those things have changed in terms of like, you know, it's like a totally different video game, right? Like, you know, they have theme parks based in like Renaissance, and you go fucking, you know, these restaurants where there's like, you know, old timey Renaissance shit. You know, people reenact the Second World War, right? Those are days gone by. Those are eras. Those are paradigms that no longer exist. You know that movie, The Westworld. You know this and then became a TV show. Like they remade it on HBO, and you know they took robots and people would go. Then there was a Westworld and there was a future world, and you know there was a movie when I was a kid, and like they remade it, like I said recently, and you know people wanted to re-experience these things because those worlds don't exist, and the world you live in is done. The world that you know that was the 1990s is done, right? Like you know, you look at even movies back from the 2000s, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of old shit in there. I'm like, that's what's from 2000 shit. Like it's 2000 when I was a kid. Seemed like, you know, there's a movie called Space Odyssey 2001, and that seemed like so far off when I was a kid. You know, 2025, all this stuff, right? It's just 2026 now. And so that people are like, that's so 5 years ago. So everything changes. But this is a dramatic change, right? Okay, so there's another comment. That was the first comment. The last comment I have, there's some in the middle, but this also has to do with that. And the person writes, I know nothing, I know absolutely nothing about the system you practice. Well, nobody does, because there was like 1,000 people doing it in America. And so unless you were somehow connected to one of those people, and almost nobody is, and even if you were, they might not even talk to you about it. So, you know, at best you might have even heard of it. I'm not sure how you pronounce and spell the name. It's Sahaj, Sahaj, Marg, 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 Sahaj Marg, means the natural path in Sanskrit. But in your belief, is this coming depopulation to last forever, or will there be cycles of this forever? Is there an eternal peace, or what? Genuinely seeking information and knowledge about it. Thanks in advance. Well, you know, the Sajmark system was made so that there would be a new person. And the reason only spirituality will change this world is because only spirituality really changes people. Only the relationship with God changes people in the way that we need to change. And so that's what that means. Like only spirituality, only connecting to God internally will help you, help humanity change into what we need to become. And then, you know, which is a society full of saints. In terms of the prophecies of the whispers of the brighter world, there's one prophecy that speaks about how there is, you know, a new energy that will come about in 50 years. It's cheap and it's non-polluting. But right now, the people in power won't allow for it. And so maybe 50, 100 years from now, it doesn't even, you know, there'll be a new energy. So that means there's going to be some semblance of civilization left in a post-apocalyptic world. So I don't know what that's going to look like. But in terms of these things, it isn't about changing the world. It's about something, a catalyst to get human beings to buy into spirituality and connecting to the divinity within them. And right now, people won't do that. So the external things are just, you know, I mean, something has to end and there has to be consequences for going against God's will, a demonic system. But that has nothing to do with the overall, you know, plan of this thing. The plan is really to help people do what I said over and over again, and that's connect to divinity within. That's, you know, to meditate on divinity within you, and then you start merging with that, you know, best version of yourself. And when you have completed that journey, you are a completely transformed person, you know, where you can help elevate humanity and the planet and these things. Anyway, so there was that. Then somebody else wrote, sorry, brother, but speaking of God, Jesus, please don't tone down on the foul language. Cheers. Well, why say sorry? Like, I don't understand the fucking apology. Like, don't say it. If you're going to fucking say you're sorry, don't say shit, right? Like, I don't care if you say something, but, you know, like, I do care because you're banned. Because, you know, you shouldn't say anything. Not because you could have a problem with me swearing in relationship with God and Jesus. And I can understand that. But, you know, I've said this before. These kids who grew up in Christian families, these kids weren't going to be murderers. They weren't going to be thieves, right? They weren't going to be, you know, those things or whatever would be punished. But all of them would swear at one time or another. So these Christians are so programmed against swearing. But if you look at the way Christ is being used, if you look at the way the Bible and the religion is being used, you look at all those different things, it's way worse than swearing. Like, swearing isn't good. It's not spiritual. I'm not defending swearing. But it's, the value you put on it is fucked. Like, you Christians, the value you put on it is fucked. Because it's not that big of a deal compared to these other things. Wars being started in Jesus' name. I mean, this, thing with this holy war, if Iran starts to win and you call this a holy war, I mean, winning is just for them surviving. But if it isn't a landslide, you can win a fight like as a boxer, or you can win a basketball game or a football game and lose because, everyone expected you to blow out that team, right? Sometimes good teams win a game, but they win it so ugly and they don't win it with any kind of real, anything that would show that they're a good team. And the other team, which didn't expect it to play even well, it ends up celebrating, right? Because they did great, they overperformed. And so that's what Iran has going for it. No one expects Iran to beat America, but America isn't going to bring in all their military weight and bear down on Iran. Like, if Iran fights back enough, and this ends up being another fucking long drawn out war where there's no, Trump has said unconditional surrender. He ran his mouth with all this shit, and he's going to have to walk all that shit back, right? When they don't get that. So, this is a bad situation. I don't know where how this related to what I was saying. Oh yeah, so going back to this, the importance of swearing is not like nearly the importance of say this war is the Armageddon, and we're waging war in Jesus' name. Like, if you think the way people take Jesus' name and use it for bad shit, a lot of bad people claiming it's Jesus' will, all these fake fucking evangelicals and people that you can see in this video. So, this is what I'm talking about, right? And then a person writes this here. Was this always a TDS channel? I don't remember it being so. And then the person wrote, before that, same person, this is the first I've seen your videos pop up in my feed in probably 6 years. I was wondering if you still made them. Well, obviously I've evolved and you've de-evolved, because if you're calling this a TDS channel, right, there's no TDS. Like, I'm very realistic about Trump. And, I enjoyed Trump his first term. I mean, I didn't think he was a good person or going to be a good president. But he was, the way he was pissing off the liberals and all the shit he was doing, I thought it was hilarious. It's not funny now, though. It's a little bit funny. Still a little bit funny. But all these dumb fucks who talk about TDS, Trump is everything the liberals said he was. It's everything the mainstream, they didn't even believe their own bullshit. They didn't even think he was that bad. They thought he was just bullshit. Like, you never knew what Trump was going to do, but you knew he was going to bullshit and grift. He's a grifter and a bullshitter. No one knew he was going to be this fucking bad. And he was going to go out the way he's going out. Like, he is the worst nightmare. He's a dictator. He's a fucking, he's a failure and a loser and all the things that he is. And he's running this, country and the world into the ground like he's done with everything else. And if you can't see it, then, like, why would you even be here? Like, you just go find some remedial dumb fuck place to be where they, pander to dumb fucks. And then to go along with this, somebody wrote, this is the first I've seen your videos pop up in my feed in probably 6 years. I was wondering if you still made them. And so, I get more positive comments like that than those ones where people show up and like, you got TDS, oh, fuck, I don't know, this channel sucking so bad. Oh, fuck. Yeah, because you like back and you've regressed in your ability to perceive things. Because, my videos 6 years ago were people watching those videos would be smart enough, if they understood my videos back then, to realize Trump's a piece of shit now. So that means you've regressed mentally and you've locked into Trump and you don't want to admit that he's fucking wrong. There's this other comment I wanted to revisit. I think it's not it. From the other day. So this thing, let me just read it. It's really misspelled and, you probably use voice to text. You seriously believe in COVID? Really? Come on. So the virus spread worldwide overnight? He meant overnight. Overbright. Just to answer that, people said that they knew people had COVID in October, and then it wasn't until January that they started to talk about it. So it was already, people were already experiencing COVID in October or before that, at least in October. The spike protein is in your hearts, mess up the hearts. What spreads even if you didn't get the shot? I sure you would chill. You must be. But listening to your health concern for 40 minutes, come on, dude. Trump special sauce. You meditate too, so that's where all the dead, all of us except live with till the illusion's gone. I have major palpitations all the time. Oh yeah, it's just a panic attack. Move on, they tell me. It's not panic attack that creates the panic attacks. Welcome to the club. At least we're still alive. Many have died from the shot, like my mom. And now my dad's first cancer. First cancer, and now AFib. COVID, come on. All right, so this is a really bad comment from a dumb fuck, and I only saw the beginning of it. But, it's so hard for this person to realize. I think people don't want to admit that they got COVIDed. Like, you got fucking spike protein. Everyone's fucking got it. It's affecting you, and it might be long-term effects, and it might show up later on, and, they got you. This is a depopulation thing. And also, it's meant to weaken people. Like, it's not a quick kill for most people. It's a fucking, turbo cancer, and it's to weaken and break the economy and break people's will and, all this shit. But this person's willing to admit that the vax caused AFib and cancer and all this shit to his parents and other people. But no, not COVID. Like, they wouldn't do two things, right? Like, they wouldn't give everybody the spike protein and COVID and then double it down with the fucking vax. And the people who are having issues that didn't get the vax, they can't explain. This person apparently didn't get the vax, but he's having those issues. And they're saying it's a panic attack, but he's realizing it's his heart. But he doesn't want to admit it's COVID because he doesn't want to realize, know that he's fucked. Like, everybody's fucked. They fucked us. They fucked us with COVID, but these people don't want to think about it. They want to think that there's some other explanation because they never got sick the way that many of us did, but they are still having the side effects and the effects of it. And you're around vaccinated people, they're shedding spike protein. It's like, you don't even have to get the vax or COVID. Other people will deliver the spike protein to you. So that's what's happened. Okay, so hopefully the internet comes back on. I'm going to go. I'm done for today. I don't know if I'll add more tomorrow, but I doubt I will. And so for now, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paramano, definitely born for the apocalypse. And the ascension, everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.